Welcome to lesson 11 of A Course in Miracles, this beautiful book. So if you have been following along, congratulations, you made it to lesson 11. For those just joining me, hello, my name is Sarai. I am a self-love, dating, and relationship coach, and I help singles just like you find their most compatible partner, helping you find you first in order to find the one, because I am a true believer that you should choose you, love you, pick you, and have a healthy relationship with yourself first in order to have a healthy, loving relationship in your life. Today's lesson is, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Gosh, that's kind of heavy and kind of dark, right? This one's for the singles out there because I hear this a lot. When we get into our moments of, I am never going to find love. Everybody out there is the same. I'm not good enough for anyone, or nobody's good enough for me. They are the ones that need to change. I can't find anybody that is worthy of my time or worthy of my effort or worthy of whatever it might be. So these are examples of meaningless thoughts that shape your reality and making it like Doomsville. Does that kind of resonate? How many of you actually have done that, where you sit there and you're like, I can't find anyone. I've been on these dating apps and they're all the same. You're on a dating app. Of course, they're all going to be the same. The experience is going to be the same. Would it be different? Would the experience may be different if you were to go meet somebody in person at, I don't know, a mixer or something? Perhaps. Would the same type of people be at those mixers? Perhaps. But if you're already going with that kind of mentality of thinking like, oh, I'm never going to find somebody and the same people are going to be there and like blah, 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 then of course you're always going to be attracting that type of thing into your life. Now, let's say that you are in a relationship and you say, and you're having a hard time during that period, and where it's a period in your relationship where you guys are having a hard time, and it's like, oh, well, we're never going to make it, or we're having the same argument over and over again, and there's no communication, and blah, blah, blah. And again, you kind of start spiraling. Those are the meaningless thoughts that we are talking about in this sense. So those are the meaningless thoughts that are showing up and giving this world a meaningless meaning. So for the single people out there, even like the people in relationships, how about we start seeing the people that are in front of us for who they really are? And for single people that have been single for too long, because I'm in that category, I know how hard it can be to kind of open yourself up again and say, well, I don't want to waste my time in somebody that might not be as interested as me or be as genuine as me. And one of the things that I can tell you is that once you start doing this coursework, and even if you were to take one of my programs, you won't be wasting your time, because you'll start to really recognize who you are and what your patterns are and what your triggers are and what those red flags are for you in a context, and what your boundaries really are. And you got to remember, all of these things, they're for yourself. They're not for the other person. Because once we start applying our triggers, our flags, our boundaries to somebody else, and it's just plain manipulation in my perception. It might not be, but that's how I perceive it, that if you are using your tools that have helped you define who you are, and you are trying to make somebody else fit into that, then that is just a way, a fancy way, in a sense, to manipulate somebody into turning into something that they're not really who that person or who you want them to be. You're just molding them into something that you want them to be. So if you were to let go of all of these thoughts, imagine what that would be, like what that would actually mean and be in your life. I truly do believe that if you were to let go of all of those meaningless, self-limiting beliefs, you wouldn't be trapped or stuck in fear or doubt. Because again, you wouldn't be wasting the time. You would know exactly, like, this isn't making me feel right, like something is off, and you hold that standard to you, that expectation to you, and not the other person. And you're free to experience life and love in its purest form, because then you can really see like, hey, this really makes me feel amazing, and this person, like the things that they said, the way that they talked to me, the way that they they acted around me, like really made me feel loved, acknowledged, worthy, enough. All of those values that we are all looking for, because at the end of the day, we just want to love and be loved, right? So if you were to stop with the self-limiting beliefs, because these are meaningless thoughts. Self-limiting beliefs are meaningless thoughts. And I know it's not as easy as like stop and like stop thinking about that. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. But if you need help with that, I am only a call away, a message away, and we can see how these lessons can be applied to you, to your personal life, and start making those changes for a better, healthier you, to attract a healthier partnership. So I hope that this really helped you. And all of these lessons, as I mentioned before, they don't have to be done in chronological order. You can pick up wherever you want. I'm just doing them this way because it just makes more sense. But if you want to save this, go back to lesson 1, start from lesson 1 and on forward. All of these exercises should be done either, I just suggest, because it's just easier for me to do it because that's how my schedule works, but you can do them throughout the day, or you can do one in the morning and one in the evening for that same lesson per day, if that makes sense. So I hope that this lesson has helped you, and I will see you all in lesson 12. I am sending you all lots and lots of love and light.